Hello, welcome back. This is The Infected. Sorry, it took a bit of time to set things up. Sorry about that. But today we're playing Stay for Reborn. Yeah, we're playing Stay for Reborn, and everything should be fine. I hope. So I have my game sound kind of lowered down because I think it's just gonna blast music like last time, so just chill a bit. I just opened the game before I jumped in. Oh well. Oh, whoops. It's the same song. I didn't expect that, to be honest with you. Obviously, I don't know if you realize, but my voice actor mic is on, so let's try as much as possible. Yeah. Alright. Let's get things started. I hope everything sounds fine. Maybe. I hope. Should be fine. Let's start. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. 1890s. When I came to, I was already lying in a piece of mud. When I came to, I was already lying in a pile of mud. Already the 6th time. It might actually have been the 7th. Looking at the holes that had been drilled through the army camp, I realized I'd already died a number of times. And I'd been revived after each death. Maybe it was a grand joke that God had played on me. But I had the ability to come back to life. From the moment I discovered the ability, I started running into enemy fire, shooting blindly as I did, and dying on repeat. After a few hundred times of doing that, suddenly there were no more enemy soldiers in front of me. When I looked back, I was a war hero. That was only the beginning. After that, I took part in 5 more wars, and I received 4 medals of honor. My deaths numbered in the thousands, but for every one of my deaths, I killed 2 of theirs. My entire lifetime was a cycle of death and resurrection on the battlefield. But even now, that comes to an end. 1960s. Daddy! My vision is growing dim, and even the voices of my children calling to me scatter like a mist. True death has come for me. Finally, even I'll be able to sleep that long slumber. Finally, what I've been hoping for this long time. Death. Where'd everybody go? Who's this? Who stayed behind? Nurse. Is that you? My apologies, but I'm no acquaintance of yours. Then, who are you? Where are my children? Where's the nurse? Are you the Grim Reaper? No, not yet at least. In fact, I'm an infector, so to speak. And Inspector. What's going on here?
Lieutenant, you've been through this very situation hundreds of times.
This
scene around you changes like a film, but the process is lost to your memories. Lieutenant, you're unable to die. That's why I'm here.
Did I come back to life? Are you saying I even come back after dying of old age?
Yes, and you'll die of that once more in about 15 minutes. Then you'll come back to life again, though your memories will be erased. For about 3 weeks now, since the 10th of this month, you've been repeatedly dying and coming back to life.
3 weeks?
Your final memory, the one of your son and daughter standing over you, that happened 3 weeks ago.
That just happened. But you're saying it's a memory from 3 weeks ago. And as a side effect of my coming back, I've lost 3 weeks of memories? No. More importantly, if that's the case, when will I finally be able to die?
I'm not sure yet. There's a good possibility your inability to die will stretch onto eternity.
Don't be ridiculous. Just end it already. Kill me. Kill me. Do it. No. This was it always meant to be this way? God wouldn't give me this ability at zero cost. This never made sense from the beginning. Did things that dead could come back to life?
Actually, it's not exactly what you think it is. Your case may be quite novel here, but where I'm from, it's not uncommon for people to have peculiar talents. We call these people staffers, and they're able to bring their abilities under their control and carry on with life. Lieutenant, your ability to resurrect is no God-given miracle. We call them skills, and yours is one of a number that follow a strict set of rules. If we figure out the rules that your skill follows, we may be able to break this chain of death and resurrection. In order to discover these rules, we may need to resort to radical methods. And of course, there's no guarantee we'll succeed. But if this is what you desire, I promise to give it my all.
Death is nothing special for me at this point. It doesn't matter what you do to this body of mine. So, please, let death take me just as quick as you can.
Then, I'm on the case.
Thank you. Where'd everybody go? Who's this? Who stayed behind? The nurse. Is that you? Are you the Grim Reaper?
Yes, of course. Lieutenant, for you, I have become the Grim Reaper, come to grant you a natural death.
Staffer, Reborn.
Bro's getting Adam altered.
I can't stand here any longer. It's already been 2 hours. Sir, I have to ask you to have some patience and give her a little more time. I'm sure the inspector is doing everything in her power to save your father.
Or she's doing everything in her power to get the money she made me sign over. Damn right, when I heard she didn't want payment in advance, I should have known not to hire her on.
I think he's taking his concerns way too far. But it would be good if we knew what sort of person the inspector was. I'll go have a look and report back. Regardless, it's time to switch out the IV bottles. Excuse me, it's just me, the nurse. Please, come in. Please, come in.
Nurse, who is this woman? Where did my children go?
No need to worry, sir. They're both waiting outside. If you'll just rest for a moment, they'll be right back in.
Right. I see.
Sorry to disturb you. I just need a moment. Changing out the IV bottles. Rough work. That it is. How's your job coming along? Well, I just finished my preparations.
Preparations? Are you joking? Are you joking?
Sir,
It's already been 2 hours, and you're just now finishing up with the preparations?
I remember no time constraints in the contract we signed. If I save your father from his death, you pay me $100,000. Our contract only considered of that single line.
Right. Only one line. But I can still fire you at any time I like.
Fine with me. However, do you have any other inspectors willing to take on your case?
Just get on your feet and get back to work.
So there's no one who's willing to try. In order to do this, I'm going to need a few things.
What things? You're not going to say you need the money, right?
Of course not. Just a few simple items. I'll get them for you. What do you need? First of all, I'll need a knife and a gun. Also a nice pen that works, or a pencil, if you wouldn't mind.
Are you insane?
Do you not have one? Then I'll settle for everything besides a pen.
You think you're being funny? Are you planning to murder?
Sir, you've got to calm down. She's probably just got an idea. At least, I certainly hope she does.
Damn it. Nurse, do what you will then. I'm not playing any more horror games. If you want to continue, see how you fit through. If you want to continue how you see fit, if you want to continue how you see fit though, you're going to have to prove your skills first.
My apologies. Please understand that he's doing this he's just doing this because he cares deeply for his father. He may be prone to be getting worked up and saying things, but he said all his work to stay on his father's side. Yes, it certainly seems that what you say is true, but I slightly suspect the reason he has for staying close. For the writing utensil, I can give you my pencil. For the knife and gun though, I'm afraid I don't have those on hand. If you're unable to prove your skills, the lieutenant's son may allow it. Can't be helped. Shall we start this then? What are you going to do with that? First, we need to figure out his skills connection. The lieutenant's skill, his supernatural ability is, at its simplest form, resurrection. Though, resurrection skills can be separated into two main types. Regeneratively connected resurrection and temporally connected resurrection. Regeneratively connected resurrection is a skill that accelerates cell division in order to restore the body to the condition it was in during life. So you can think of it as a planarian, yes? If that was the case, there would be differences in his body before death and after revival. Temporally connected resurrection, in contrast, is quite different. There would be almost no difference in the body before and after resurrection. And then it's like turning back time before death. That's how the skill works. Most resurrection skills fall into that regeneratively connected category. However, with the lieutenant here, I suspect that we may have a case of the latter. Thus, I was first planning to verify which type of lieutenant falls into. And that's what the pencil's for. Correct. You can stay and watch if you like. So, Lieutenant, let's begin. Our goal is to end the cycle of repeated deaths. So first of all, as gently as possible, we'll have to kill you once or twice.
Certain actions take 5 minutes to carry on. If you press the pass some time button in the top left, 5 minutes will pass. Once the time remaining hits 0, the lieutenant will die, and his memories will be reset. First and foremost, let's try out the pencil on the lieutenant.
Circle, triangle, star. Excuse me. Pain me no need. Just talking to myself. Now, Lieutenant, if you'll just stay there like that for a moment. Good drawing. As expected, the X was the simplest. What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? You think a star would have been better? No, that's not what I meant. I'm just wondering why you're drawing on the lieutenant's face. Didn't I explain it before? I'm seeing if the lieutenant's resurrection is regeneratively or temporarily correct. Yes, I remember that part, but what's that have to do with the drawing? Well, if you're giving me a moment, you'll find out.
Ugh.
15 minutes have passed. The lieutenant has been revived by his skill. Yes, I've already seen this hundreds of times. Have you? Then you should see what's changed immediately. Excuse me, what's changed? What do you... Take a look at his face. Take a look at his face. Ah!
Nurse, where are my children? And who is this woman?
The drawing on his face. As expected, it's temporal. If this was simply regeneration due to cell division, there's no reason for the mark I made to be gone. So this is the temporal connection you were talking about. You're a fast learner. That's correct. The lieutenant died, and then his body returned to its state at a preset time. That's why the mark I made disappeared with it. That also explains the phenomenon he's experienced, wherein a certain amount of memories are lost with each regeneration. As his brain is returned to its previous state, the gained memories are erased. To put it in Beru terms, this is resurrective temporal regression. The Beru? That's the institution that controls people's superpowers, huh? I heard once they had to operate in places where supernatural powers are commonplace. Yes, and that's the same institution classifies skills like this, using their defining characteristics. First skill name. Next, range. Since the lieutenant's regression skill seems to affect only his own body, we can just write down under 1 centimeter. Finally, we have the condition needed for skill activation. It's a rather dated term, but we call it a catalyst. The lieutenant's resurrection skill is triggered by the death of his body. That's it for the basics needed for a proper verifier. Wherever characteristics don't fit into the box are detailed at the bottom here. In the lieutenant's case, those characteristics include on resurrection, memories disappear. Normally I'd have to fill this page out top to bottom, but since I've got nothing else right now, we'll just have to fill this in one line at a time. Inspector, I can see now that you're well versed in the supernatural abilities. It seems like you're the right person for whatever is going on with the lieutenant. If you break down his skill like this to figure it out, is it possible to put the stop in this phenomenon? I'm not sure. But if we're going to put a stop to Lieutenant's never-ending cycle of death, we'll need a cause. That's going to need a general understanding of his skill. That's what I think, at least. These skills do seem to defy the existing laws of physics, but that doesn't mean they make every possibility possible. the range conditions to trigger a skill, and so on. They show an existing set of rules and limitations. The lieutenant skill, we have its own set. Finding out what that is should give us a clue that allow us to stop this repetitive loop. But for that, we're going to need some tools. By tools, do you mean the knife and gun you mentioned before? Correct. Could you procure them for me? Mine were confiscated on arriving here. I'm under the direction of my employer. I can't be handling out weapons under his roof. Also, even if I were so inclined... I mean, I do understand your position. You can't just be handing out guns to people you just met. Sorry. It's quite alright. It's much less interesting, but it seems we'll have to start with our peaceful options. Peaceful options? To be perfectly frank, it's much less flashy than it sounds. It just means we'll have to resort to conversation for a while. Ness, could you tell me everything you know about the resurrections you've witnessed? Also, I'd like to get as much as I can from the lieutenant. That won't be a problem. From what the doctors say, he has only got a few days left. Yet, under these conditions, he's maintained his right man to an unprecedented degree. Though, I'm not sure that's the best news for him. I would have to disagree. Just maybe, what we're about to hear from the lieutenant could be the thing that saves him. Hello, Lieutenant.
Who are you?
Ah, of course. Would you believe if I told you I was the Grim Reaper?
Oh, the day has finally come.
Yes, excuse me, Inspector, if I may. Yes, what's the matter? Why are you lying to him? I've been talking to the lieutenant for the past 2 hours. But explaining the situation properly to him, that takes a considerable amount of time. Our conversation stretched on, and before you know it, the lieutenant has died, resetting his memories. Thus, I need to hurry our exchange along as quickly as possible as I can. The Grim Reaper lie has proved to be the quickest way of achieving that. It also makes the lieutenant quite cooperative. I'd appreciate it if you considered this a bit of Inspector wisdom on my part. Lieutenant, you have the ability to revive after death. Regarding said ability, could you go into a bit more detail, perhaps?
The first time I ever came back from the dead was precisely 17 years ago. Sorry. The first time I ever came back from the dead was precisely 17 years.
Oh my gosh, I'm saying 17.
The first time I ever came back from the dead was precisely 70 years ago. It was my first time stepping foot on the battlefield. A goal was to take the beach, launching a surprise attack on the enemy. As we approached the drop point, I remember not thinking about anything in particular. I simply kept rank and followed the soldier in front of me. But then suddenly a shot rang out. That's when the fear took over. Everyone took off, running like madmen. And I followed suit. When I came to my senses, I was splayed out, staring at the sky.
What was that? What was that? He died.
Precisely, though. It took another 10 deaths or so to realize that. People with strange abilities. I heard that such people were used as tools, but I'd never thought that would happen to me.
Staffers only started appearing in large numbers about 50 years ago, so thinking that back then was really natural.
It was quite a strange miracle that happened. But, of course, I latched onto my new ability back then. I can only remember thinking one thing. I've got to use this ability to survive. I raised my gun and started firing, running as I did. I must have died dozens of times after, but when I really got hold of myself, there wasn't an enemy soldier around. Suddenly, I was the hero.
It's like hearing about a legendary character for some mythical story.
Nothing quite so grandiose. Heroes in real life. They're just another means to win a war. Well, I'm not sure if that answers your question.
It does, but there's a part of your story that sticks out to me. Lieutenant, it seems like you leaned on this ability to revive and used it as a blitzkrieg tactic. But after reviving, were there not bullets or other shrapnel in your body?
There were. They gave me quite a bit of grief too. But compared to the amount of times I died, there weren't as many bullets you'd expect. It seems perhaps the most of them passed straight through.
I see. I've got a notepad and a pencil, so it sort of feels like I should be writing something down. You can use that notepad as you please. Thank you, but no thank you. We need to preserve the scene as much as possible. Then why'd you bring it up? You're speaking as if this was some sort of crime scene. Ah, sorry about that. Just a force of habit. Still, it never hurts to be cautious.
True.
After all, we won't know what the truth is until we reach the end. Lieutenant, you have the ability to revive after death. Regarding said ability, could you go into a bit more detail?
The first time I ever came back from the dead.
Wait, didn't we read this? Yeah, we did. Okay. Alright. Die, my friend. You have lived a long life. See you later. See you.
Who are you? And where did my children go?
That marks another 15 minutes past. The lieutenant has revived again. Well then, shall we start again? Come to think of it, nurse, would you happen to know the code that opens the safe on this wall? No, but I imagine the lieutenant would know. Huh? But that safe is... Inspector, I do hate to say it, but I believe that safe is normally hidden behind a painting of a landscape. Ah, I got rid of that. It was in the way. Indeed, I guess asking the lieutenant for the combination would be the fastest method. I should hurry and ask him for the combination to get this open. I'm not sure why you want to open the safe, but if he allows it, I won't get in your way. Hello, Lieutenant.
Who are you?
Ah, I'm the Grim Reaper.
I see. The day has finally come.
What's the combination to the safe in that wall?
My safe. There's nothing much in it.
Yes, I see. So what's the combination?
Why is the Grim Reaper got to know the combination to my safe? That's rather suspicious.
It seems that when a person asks about the safe, things take a turn for the real. I think it's quite a natural response. There's no reason for the Grim Reaper to be curious about the contents of a safe. Good point. To be curious about the contents of a safe, I'd sooner be a thief. But you did say there wasn't all that much in there, so why not just tell me?
Get the hell out of my house before I call the police.
Oh, that's not good.
Doesn't look like that's going to work. That throws a spanner in the works. Seems that mentioning the safe brings him straight back to reality. Seems that I almost lose favor points with the man. Favor points. If I were to get in the man's good favor and ask, he may tell me the answer. But what's favorite point. Ah, don't worry about that. The only important thing right now is figuring out the combination to that safe. Honestly, I'm not sure how opening the safe has any relevance to what's going on. Would you mind if I check the drawer of this vanity? Sure, knock yourself out. Sure, knock yourself out. Actually, I already looked. The only thing in there is a picture album. All inspectors like this. Have you ever looked through this album? Have you ever looked through that album? No, I knew it was in there, but I didn't pursue because I thought it would be rather rude to do so. Great, then we can take this chance to pursue it together. Peruse it together. This child. From the hair color, I don't think this is his daughter, so probably his son. His son, the lieutenant's son who was giving me a loud scolding before. So, who's the girl? She's his older sister. She's out on business right now, but before the lieutenant got like this, she was always helping out as earnestly as she could. Aha, do they have any other siblings? None. The lieutenant married so late that he must have had his son when he was nearing his 50s. I see. It's just something I heard, but apparently the lieutenant's wife passed away from an illness when she was in her 50s. This must be her in this picture. Yes, I do believe so. This must be the last picture they took of her. The picture next to it seems to have been taken on the same date, but the mood in the picture is completely different. That's a picture taken from the lieutenant and his troops. The lieutenant is the man in the center with a nearly trimmed beard. You can recognize him that easily. The impression I got of him is quite different. I've seen this picture before. He seems quite old in this picture, but it looks like he went off to war with them too. He was no ordinary soldier. He went off to the battle well after the age of retirement. Heroes are definitely breed. Heroes are a different breed. Well, regardless, serving in the military at this time must have meant that he wasn't able to be with his wife during her final days. It's just the two of them here, but they sure do look happy. The lieutenant adores his daughter. So I know his will. In his will. Ah, silly me. Pretend you didn't hear that. Oh, but of course, absolutely. From her voice, it sounds like she'll make it a point to never forget.
Ah, fucking hell. Keep pressing it. Is it okay if I go to the bathroom really quickly? Sorry. Alright, I'm back, sorry.
It looks like a picture of the son and daughter when they were children. From the fact that they were wearing school uniforms and standing in front of a school, they must have taken this one during their school's orientation or some other event. Then that would make this woman in the picture their mother. I never had the pleasure of meeting her, but it seems so. I also remember taking a picture with my parents in front of the school on my first day. Is that right? I envy you. However, I don't see the lieutenant in this picture. I wonder where he was. This looks like the lieutenant with his son. I see they were able to have a picture taken together. It seems that the lieutenant's son worked hard nursing his father back to health. This is the first time I've seen of him like this. Honestly, it's quite surprising. In truth, the lieutenant never held his son in a very good light. Aha. Regardless, seeing him at his father's side till the very end, he is quite a devoted son. Yes, it's quite admirable of him. It's quite admirable of him. Yes, it's quite admirable of him. Who's this in the picture? Who's this in the picture? I don't think it's the lieutenant's son. I see some slight differences in their appearance. Then it's someone even they don't know of. Yes, after all, I haven't worked here for that long. I see. Under normal circumstances, I'd say it's quite likely this is some secret child he's been herding away. I don't think that's what we're seeing here. Who's that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Finally, I'm starting to see the lieutenant I know in his pictures, and the person next to him. The young lady, that's the lieutenant's daughter. Even back when the lieutenant was in good health, the young lady would... Even back when the lieutenant was in good health, the young lady would come by to see her father about once a week. The lieutenant seems to care for his daughter very much. Does she live close? No, not really. She lives a good 2 hours drive away. Quite the devoted daughter. Haven't seen her around though. As I said, they were very close, which only makes this situation harder on her. Fortunately for her, the lieutenant's son said he'd take the first shift watching their father, so she's returned to her work. I see. From what you're telling me, they seem like the perfect family.
For some reason I can't skip. Let's talk to her, I guess.
Ask what you will. Would you tell me what you know about your employer? He is perhaps the most renowned soldier in the neck of the woods. I heard that not only 20 years prior, he went to war in Sarbi's country. His room is quite modest for someone with such stature. I don't see any medals in display. I was also quite surprised by that at first. He's had his whole life in the military, but he almost never brought it up, his life as a soldier of his, or his time in the wars. Then, what did the topic of conversation normally lean towards? At times, family. Family. I wish I could learn more about that. Speaking of which, there's something in the drawer I found during my investigation that pertains to family.
Ugh. Who are you? And where did my children go?
That marks another 50 minutes past. The lieutenant has revived again. Well then, shall we start again? Hello, I'm the Grim Reaper.
Oh. The day has finally come.
Indeed, it has. She's starting to phone it in. Ask what you...
It's hard to do the nurse's voice for a long time.
Ask what you will. I started working here about a year ago. Back then, I was in quite the bind after leaving the hospital I've been working at. However, the lieutenant and my father were close friends, so he ended up hiring me on... How did your father come to know the lieutenant? My father was also a soldier. They even got served together at one point. Served? Yes, they went to war together. Then your father is also quite the patriot. That's what everyone tells me. Honestly, in my eyes, my father is just my father.
Okay. Summary, I should find out about the lieutenant. Before investigating the lieutenant's skill, I want to find out more about him as a person. Perhaps that will serve as a key to unlocking this whole predicament. I should have a talk with the lieutenant and get a good look around this room. There's something amongst the things I investigated before that concerns me. I should have done with the woman's voice, but okay.
I should find out about the lieutenant. Before investigating the lieutenant's skill, I want to find out more about him as a person. Perhaps that will serve as a key of unlocking this whole predicament. I should have a talk with the lieutenant and get a good look around the room. There's something amongst the things I've investigated before that concerns me.
Burial file, Jason Lieutenant Ludlum. Resurrective temporal regression under 1 centimeter catalyst stay for his death. Notes on resurrection, memories disappear, Estinine. Suspicions.
I should use my pencil to figure out the defining characteristics of the lieutenant's resurrection. Temporal regression. I should thoroughly investigate the room. What's the safest combination?
Yeah, we already checked everything.
I've got a notepad and a pencil. It's so...
I already read this. Oops. Is there anything else?
No. I haven't done anything yet. No. I haven't done anything yet. Weren't you about to draw on me? I was. No. Alright. Next time then. The next time will also get a no from me. Okay.
Ugh. Who are you? And where did my children go?
That marks another 50 minutes past. The lieutenant has revived again. Well then, shall we start again?
That's everything we've looked around in the room so far.
Grim Reaper,
What?
the day has finally come.
I see.
The lieutenant, to think he'd immediately believe in such ridiculous things as the Grim Reaper. I had no idea he was so spiritual. It's not that odd from his point of view. I've suddenly appeared in front of him. Plus, people are bound to believe what they want to believe. Does that mean the lieutenant has been wanting to die? Maybe even before becoming like this?
To me, at least, it certainly
seems that way.
I really don't know about anything to talk about there.
A long time ago, I once used a pencil to crack open a safe. Ah, is that so? Indeed, after dusting for prints with graphite powder from the pencil, I found which buttons the owner of the safe had been pressing. That's an interesting approach. Impressive. But this safe doesn't have a keypad, so that method won't be of much of use. True. Unfortunate, though. Indeed. What was that about? Strange conversation to be having.
Trying to figure out if there's anything else or not. Sorry, I was not looking forward. I'm trying to figure out whether there was anything else or not, because I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. To be honest with you, I am kind of stuck.
Shall we go with something more realistic looking this time? Do you really really have to draw on him again? No. Then one would kindly desist. The next let's... No, you said you don't need to anymore.
That's like everything though. Oh. No documents, that doesn't really matter, man. Too much, does it? Maybe it's talk again? About resurrections?
Lieutenant, you have the ability to revive after death. Regarding said ability, could you go into a bit more detail?
Yep. Same thing, 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 same thing. Okay. I'm not gonna keep voicing that, there's no reason to. There's no reason to. Okay.
Is this notepad for recording the patient's condition? I don't know. I didn't bring it. I think it's been there since yesterday. There's nothing of interest written on it. Now at least. Excuse me. If you look at the top edge, there's a sign of that page has been ripped from it. Ah, you're right. You think someone wrote something on there? The remaining pages have pressure marks on the pen. If you know the way, you can tell what was written on it before. You know, every time you write on a notepad, you leave faint depressions behind. From those marks, you can make out what was written before. Normally, it'd be better use a few tools of the trade, but let's go ahead and use this pencil to restore the message. When I lay the pencil flat like this... what are you doing? What, are you going to color the full page with pencil? I did that quite often when I was a student. Indeed, similar idea. Looks exactly the same to me. But the technique is different. But you shouldn't press down that hard. You should lay the pencil flatter. Give it here. I'll do it. You've got to color in lightly. Then the writing jumps off the page. Just to clear things up so there are no misunderstandings, I normally use more professional means. Just to clear things up so there are no misunderstandings, I normally use more professional means. Right. However, I'm clearly not used to such an amateur methods. Of course. Here. All done. All done. All done. All done. All done.
There we go.
Good work. It showed up quite well, despite not using my more professional methods. Yep. Sad I couldn't see your professional ways of doing things firsthand. This woman is surprisingly quite annoying. I'll be sure to show you next time. Well then, shall we see what the note says? So if you take a look at the notes written here, this looks like a list of numbers, with someone jotting down some numbers to remember. There are some numbers marked X and numbers marked O. Does that mean that they were correct and incorrect numbers? Nurse, what comes to mind? Nurse, what comes to mind when you see this? Sorry, from one look at it, nothing rings a bell. As expected. But then, shall I take a guess? Think about what I've looked at so far. There may be something that connects.
Okay. Like this. Whoops. Yeah.
Here it is. What? That's the photo album. Look here, check the numbers on this notepad and those in the album. Don't you see? Ah, I do! It's the numbers. It's that the numbers on this notepad are the same as the dates of the pictures on the album, yes? Indeed, a reasonable assertion. But why would someone go through the trouble of writing all this out? Plus, what do all the marks mean? No way to know. However, it may be good to talk with someone who does know. After all, the person connected to all these pictures is right here, in front of us.
Okay.
Excuse me. Now then, which picture should I ask him about first? You spent January 1st, 1953 with your daughter, yes?
It wasn't just 1953. I spent most of the time with her lately. My daughter came to visit me on every holiday there was. I bet she wanted to leave an old man like me behind and to spend time with her own family. But I'm thankful just the same.
I doubt your daughter's family would share your sentiment.
Perhaps one thing's for certain. I was never the sort of father to deserve this good of treatment.
July 15th, 1940, you fell ill and your son nursed you back to health.
From how he tells it, my memories from that time are a bit fuzzy, so I don't remember much about the nursing part. My daughter said he nursed me back to health, but that's only because she looks after her brother so well. From the actions of that boy of mine these days, to be perfectly frank, I don't much believe him.
Feels like I brought up the wrong subject. I think the wrinkles on his face have gotten deeper. February 25th, 1926. The day I saw on a picture of your wife, son and daughter standing in front of the school. I didn't see you in that picture though.
Of course not. I was in the army back then. I thought those events they attended and pictures they took were just for keeping up appearances. I thought that as long as you held love in your heart, that one day it would be delivered to your loved ones. Ridiculous sentiment looking back. I barely had the time to look them in the eye, much less say a word to them. It's a miracle that my daughter has stayed on my side this long. I figured she'd sooner toss me out with the trash like my son did.
October 30th, 1920. Do you remember what happened on that day?
My apologies. I couldn't tell you. That was over 40 years ago.
That was the day your son was born.
Is that right?
Well, as you say, it was a long time ago. It's not out of the question to fail to remember the exact year something happened.
No. It's just that even when you say it was the day my son was born, no particular memories come to mind. I couldn't tell you the date of my son's birthday, let alone the year he was born. But I clearly remember the birthdays of my wife and daughter. That will do it. No wonder that boy views me as the enemy.
Hold on. Nothing. Photo albums. Continue.
Just a few years ago, you took a picture with your daughter. In that picture, you looked so happy.
My daughter is a kind person. She always thinks of me first. How would I manage to raise such a kind girl? She clearly takes after her mother. Compared to her, that boy. Oh my. Well, he normally keeps quiet until he needs money. What's even the point of talking about it now? It's only going to make me ugly when it eventually become a corpse.
Well, that didn't seem to have a good effect. It seems his gaze has grown colder.
December 25th.
December 25th, 1935, Christmas. Back then you were serving in the military. And at the same time your wife...
Yes. She was in critical condition. A few days later I received a letter telling of her passing.
Do you have any regrets? Do you wish you could have been there?
Of course. I have many regrets. But my true regret is not having paid heed to the children she left behind. If I had things between me and my son, might have turned out differently. But instead, my wife's passing only drove me to fight even harder on the battlefield.
But why, after all that? Why this obsession with war? This may be only overstepping my bounds, but you don't seem to carry much pride in fighting for your country.
In war, I thought I could achieve things I wanted. I was young and these aren't exactly the stories I should be telling the Grim Reaper.
Alright, let's get him favor points. Now let's ask about the safe.
What's the combination to the safe in the wall?
My safe, there's...
Okay. I guess I can't do that yet. Okay, so we have only 15 minutes. That means we can't really extend favor points to 15. I mean, not 15. To 5? Zero to 25. 10:30. And December 25th.
So now that the note has been restored, that only leaves your investigation. If I were to make a few more passes with a pencil, wouldn't that make the note jump out all the more? Don't. It's perfect, just how it is. I can feel the pride you have in your work. Well, that's because it was hard work restoring it. This notepad needs no further investigation. I should check out something else. Ask what review.
Well, I already talked that, so... Do we need anything? Yeah, no, this one. Skip. And these are the same. Okay. I'm gonna drop completely his thing by doing the favor points to 0. Doing pencil maybe? No. Well, obviously we know for the fact that these 3 memories give happy memories, but every time we do one, it spends 5 minutes. That means within the 15 minutes, he will die.
Derivatives? Looks like we're gonna need a 4-digit combination. I done it 4 times, then I had a click as it reset. She must have tried this. She might have tried this. She must have tried this quite a lot. Let's hurry and find the combination to the safe. We need to get it open quickly. Why do we need to get it open? It's like a chronic illness for inspectors like me. No need to worry about it. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Ugh. I'm thinking right now, but what could I possibly do? Hmm. I am so confused. What do I do? I guess we might as well try just doing all 5. I mean not all 5, all 3 of the photo albums, because it kind of might as well try, you know. I only have a choice. Wait, 24th or 25th? 25th? Yeah. Oh, we got something, okay.
Nurse. Are you there?
Yes, yes, Lieutenant. I'm here.
I have a favor to ask of you. My will. It's locked behind the safe in that wall. Please get it out for me.
Excuse me, but Lieutenant, it's not only the 2 of us here, but...
I don't really care if the woman next to you is the Grim Reaper or not. There's something I need to do before it's too late. The combination to the safe is 0, 4, 1, 2.
Is that another date? April 12th. What happened on that day?
That day, it was the first day I died. Nurse, would you pop in from where'd my daughter go?
No need to worry. Just rest. We got lucky. I never thought we'd get the safe combination directly from the Lieutenant.
Same.
Where did change of heart come from? All you did was look at the albums and talk about the past. In looking back at the past, we changed something about his perception. You mean his perception of you? No, probably someone other than me. Someone from the photo album. Now that we know the combination, we don't need to wait any longer. I've unlocked it. What's the matter? Nothing, just reminded me of a certain someone. Inside there's a tear wheel, just as the Lieutenant said. It was only written here 3 weeks ago. Ah, if you're just going to skim it like that. Huh? What's wrong? Is this not it? No, this is the Lieutenant's will, alright? The handwriting and signature are his. However, I may be mistaken, but the contents are a bit different from what I remember. Aha. Well, I think it would be the best to check with the person who actually wrote it. Excuse me. Lieutenant, Lieutenant, please have a look at this.
My apologies, but could you bring it a little closer? My eyes aren't what they used to be.
Of course.
This is my will. Is this some sort of a joke? The signature and the handwriting are mine. But I didn't write this. To think I would will my property equally between my two children. Who would ever will an inheritance to such a disrespectful brat? I made it clear in my will that everything is supposed to go to my daughter.
How did this happen? I see. That's using your brain. Excuse me. Alright, something that matter. No, it's just that... Just a second ago, for a second, her voice grew so cold. Did she figure something out?
What do you think you're doing?
Sir!
Nurse, why'd you open the safe?
Excuse me? Ah, that was... right on cue.
Excuse me?
Didn't you say that if I wanted to continue how I said fit, I'd have to prove my skills first? Let me show you then. Let me show you both the work I'm doing and the secrets I can uncover. Now, let me fill you in.
Is this just a feeling I'm getting, or was there a certain hostility in the words of secrets you just used?
Just a feeling. Just a feeling. Is there any phrase with less meaning than that? When people want to skirt around the true intentions, they always claim it was just a feeling. I'm not sure if this is just a feeling, but this is what I'm thinking. The will that was in the safe right there, I think you put it in there. That's what I'm thinking.
Hold on, I need a drink. Nurse, don't tell me you're falling in line with the words of this charlatan, are you?
I'm sorry, but when you saw the safe standing open, you suddenly did cause quite the scene.
I left a stranger in this room with my father, only to come back in and say his safe wide open, even though you're seen standing right there next to her. It's perfectly natural to lose my temper about that, is it?
About that, I do apologize. Well then, the lieutenant put that will in the safe himself. Is that what you're claiming?
How am I supposed to know that? But if it's the will you took from the safe yourself, wouldn't that make sense? Think about it. That safe is my father's and only he knows the combination to it. Who else do you think put it in there?
At the very least, I'm sure it wasn't the lieutenant.
You're giving me a headache. Is this really so complicated? How simply should I put this?
No, it's not complicated in the slightest. Take a look at this paper.
What of it?
It's a list of all the suspicions I've had while investigating this room.
I never asked for a list of suspicions. I just want to answer to this ridiculous situation we found ourselves in.
Suspicions can, at some times, be answers to other suspicions. For example, was it the lieutenant who placed this will in that safe? To answer the question, only needs to look at this line right here. So, what do you see written here?
No need to stick it in my face. You mean my father never knew of the existence of this will?
Yes, before you burst into this room, I let the lieutenant read the will. He said he had written one, but he also said that the contents of the one he had written were different. Specifically, regarding the part about his assets were to be divided. Of course.
And what? Am I supposed to take you at your word? Just look at the state of him. He's been dying and coming back on repeat for 3 weeks now. You think someone like that is going to be in his right mind?
Wasn't it the doctor's own opinion that your father was holding on to his wits into an unprecedented degree?
It's also been 3 weeks since he was here. In all that time since then, my father's been in the constant agony of dying and coming back. I don't know about these supernatural abilities as much as you do, but in the process of dying and coming back like this, isn't it natural to think that his brain cells were getting damaged?
You're right there. You're right there. You're right there. You know next to nothing about supernatural abilities.
Huh?
Regarding these supernatural abilities, these skills, I'm a pro, so let me show you a professional's opinion. The lieutenant's condition is exactly the same as it was 3 weeks ago. That's because... This is a lieutenant's skill, his supernatural ability. I recorded the details about his skill on the page myself. Normally, we refer to this as a person's Baru file.
You sure have been thorough.
The important part is the name of his said skill, Resurrective Temporal Regression. Do you know what that means?
How am I supposed to...
Right, of course not. Let me kindly explain. Resurrective skills are largely divided into two regeneratively connected and temporally connected skills. The possibility you mentioned of your father's resurrections causing mental damage, that's normally a phenomenon caused by the physical means of regeneratively connected revival skills. However, the lieutenant's skill's temporally connected skill, meaning we're looking at something closer to his body returning to the moment before sustaining his critical injury. Thus, the probability of what you claim happening is extremely low.
But extremely low it still isn't 0%. Even you, Mr. Spectre, can't be sure, can you?
Correct. I cannot say for certain, but considering the fact that he could recall the events that happened decades ago, I can say it's as close to 0% as can be.
What do you know about my father? Did you meet him before he became like this?
Well then, let's ask someone who did. We'll ask the person who's been watching him closer than anyone else. Nurse, have you noticed anything mentally wrong with the lieutenant? Huh? Me? Me? Yes.
Think hard before you answer that.
If I were to give my honest opinion, what should I say in this situation? The lieutenant is in exactly the same condition he was in 3 weeks ago.
Nurse!
With that, the likelihood that the lieutenant put that will in his safe is even closer to 0%. That begs the question, why was that will in his safe?
Of course, the will you're referring to had something written on it that was quite favorable for me. So you're suspecting me for this? Isn't that right?
Seems like I can leave the detective work out to you. If that was my only guess, that is.
So, what are you trying to say? I wrote the will? Is that what you're getting at? You think I changed the contents of the will? And forged a signature? Is that it?
My good sir, I think you already knew exactly what I was going to say.
I have no idea what you mean.
With the new will that suddenly appeared, you, the largest benefactor, would need to prove its validity. You would need some sort of insurance. And you need to be quite confident in said insurance. Let's return to our point then. Who wrote this will? If we take a look at this section, the answer is clear.
Oh wait, no. Oh.
person who wrote the will is clearly the lieutenant himself. What? But what? Signatures and seals can be forged with enough time and technique. He seems to want me to point the fact out. However, this will was entirely handwritten by the lieutenant. Even for a skilled corn artist, writing this out longhand in the lieutenant's handwriting is close to impossible. So the person who wrote this will is none other than the lieutenant himself. Then what was the whole conversation about? Should I use this time to apologize?
So, what are you saying we do? This meaningless conversation is a waste of my time. Cut it out with this drivel and get back to work.
My good sir, I'm afraid my drivel isn't quite over. You should know that as well.
Don't you call me that. I'm not your good anything.
It's clear that the lieutenant wrote the will himself. However, that doesn't make it valid. After all, it was written of your abolition. Isn't that true, my good sir?
I said stop calling me that! I apologize for raising my voice. But I'm sure that even though you know how ridiculous this nonsense you're spouting is. You say that will had to be written by my father, but now you're saying I made him do it? How might that be possible? Do I look like an expert in brainwashing or something? Or some sort of cult leader to you?
No, you don't look nearly that imposing. However, the lieutenant is experiencing a rather unique set of circumstances. Using said circumstances, it could be possible for you to bend the lieutenant to your will, to your own. However, it would take a bit of trial and error. And the proof of said trial and error is right here.
Yep. I was gonna actually use the one before, but oh well. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I had to use that, okay. Same thing. Oh well.
The notepad is yours, no?
Oh, first save. Ugh.
No need to be on your guard. There's nothing written here.
I mean, sure, it's probably mine.
So we restored what was written on it.
What?
And it was our kind nurse who did the restoring. Excuse me? Sorry, sir. This notepad had a record of all the dates of the pictures in this album. I asked the lieutenant about the dates on these pictures. A photograph is merely an object that connects us to our memories. Perhaps it's that and the death he's on the verge of, but he gave quite the emotional responses. However, there was one interesting thing. When I asked the lieutenant about the days with ecstasy, he got quite upset. On the contrary, when I asked about the dates that were marked with O's, he expressed his regrets regarding his past. Rage and regret. The object of both of these feelings was you. When I talked about him, about only the dates that were circled, he even asked for us to retrieve his will. It was like he wished to make some changes. A father who wishes to forgive his son right before his death. Quite the touching tale. If it were a coincidence. What's that supposed to mean? What's that supposed to mean? My good sir, the lieutenant said that his original intentions were to bequeath nothing of you. Such an arrangement didn't sit well with you. Thus you tried to persuade your father only to end up angering him each time. In the end, with your name absent from his will, the lieutenant grew closer to his passing. But then suddenly, he entered into his never-ending cycle of death and rebirth. As the cycle repeated itself, it was hard for your sister to remain here with you. Thus you sent her back home and decided to stand watch on your own. You thought it might be just the opportunity you needed. That's where your things stood, with your father's memory resetting every 15 minutes. Ah! That was your moment, when you could persuade your father with no one to interrupt you. You didn't even need to worry about a slip of tongue that might dirty his memories of you. First you picked out the pictures in this album that were able to sway his emotions. Then you used those dates to begin to persuade him. You marked all the dates that elicited negative responses with an X, and marked the others that elicited positive responses with a no, finding ideal memories for you to use. Finally, in a short span of 15 minutes, you changed his mind and succeeded in getting him to alter his will. Now, in order for the will to take its effect, you'll need to end things as they stand. You called in an inspector who could kill your father.
I'm telling you, you should have been a novelist, not an inspector.
Oh, you don't like my line of reasoning?
Right, let's say as you put it is.
And I exploited my father's current state to alter his will. Then the will must have been written sometime in the past 3 weeks while my father's been like this.
But go look for yourself. See when the will was written.
March 22nd at 8:30 in the morning. March 22nd, 3 weeks ago, the lieutenant became like this. However, he started his resurrections around noon that day.
8 in the morning was before he got like this. By the way, don't even start about how I tricked him about the date or anything. After all, it was you who just said his mental state is perfectly fine. I don't know about tricking him about the time, but tricking him about 3 whole weeks is out of the question.
Surprising. Revealed everything up to this point, yet you still think you can move past this. The date on the will, huh? I'm sure it says it was written 3 weeks ago. But we all know why that is, don't we? You think it was just that? It's that obvious. Yes, and if you don't remember, I can show you again. Right here, this is the reason why the will is dated 3 weeks prior. I experienced it before, but the lieutenant's resurrections resets his physical body to form in the past. Thus, all his memories also reset to the time before his reanimation. My good sir, you also used that fact when you had him rewrite the will.
No, because
the lieutenant wouldn't have remembered. Every 15 minutes he dies, then his memory resets to 15 minutes before. You should understand the implications of that. From the moment he started his cycle, he remembers nothing new. The lieutenant's memory came to a standstill at the moment 3 weeks ago. Thus, it's obvious why the lieutenant would write a date 3 weeks in the past. Actually, the fact that he wrote the date when he began this cycle of revival proves that he rewrote the will why he was like this. You know why that is, my good sir?
yes, but what of it?
Sir, did you really?
Yes! The will is my fabrication. My sister was to get everything, and I wouldn't get a penny. Does that make sense to you? My business went under, so I need this cash. And now, I merely took advantage of the situation I was placed in. So what are you going to do? Report me? What a righteous inspector we have here.
You think I would? If I reported my own client, I wouldn't be able to collect my fee. At the current juncture, I'm no detective seeking justice. I'm just a inspector who makes money and serves requests.
What? Then why all this?
Because you weren't straight with me from the beginning. Because if I wanted to continue how I saw fit, I had to prove my skills first. I had a feeling that my client was suspicious about my skill level, so I just wanted to give him a taste.
Yes, makes sense when you put it like that. I lost. From now on, I'll support you any way I can. Tell me what you need.
I told you what I need from the outset. A knife and a gun, if you would.
Alright. What sort of knife do you need?
The sharpest one you can find.
Nurse, I remember you having a scalpel. Nurse, I remember you have a scalpel.
Yes, I have a few in here. This should do nicely.
Next is your gun. I'll just return the one I took from you at the front door. However, I'll be holding on to the bullets. It goes without saying, but I'll have a hand on my own gun as well, so don't get any weird ideas.
Of course not. I'll only be using it to solve your request.
Outstanding.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Oh.
I was worried since the gun is too weak for self-defense, but it may be appropriate for this situation. Considering the way she used her pencil, I imagine she'll also use her gun in a rather unusual way. There's no way she's going to point that at a person, so what's she going to do with it? Calm down, the blood's already gone. The blood that spills from his body is still part of his body, so what about if the opposite were true? What did you?
I didn't want to believe it, but you actually asked for a gun to shoot my father!
Of course. What, of course. What other use would I have got for a gun? As this skill is related to death, a tool that would intentionally bring about that death is the most effective way of investigating it. But, is this really okay? I already received permission from the lieutenant. He's welcome now, but if I were to explain to him again, he'd only give me his permission once more. Regardless, he's going to die again in 15 minutes. This just brings about the same result a bit quicker. You can say that, but still, something about it feels wrong. Can you really take the values inherent in death and make such light work of them? The values inherent in death. A blade through an artery, a bullet through a brain, a spoonful of poison. These all kill us. No matter how great the person or how strong, these are the great equalizers. That is the value inherent in death. The important things aren't decided when we die, but when we are amounting the living. Death only marks the end of that. The value of a death is determined by the life that comes before it. That's what I think, at least. I hope that's a satisfactory answer. Besides, the lieutenant looks perfectly fine for someone who just got shot.
Of course he revived, so that's a given.
No, the bullet didn't pierce through his head. His body merely returned to how it was before, thus the bullet should still be lodged in his brain. If that was so, he wouldn't be this coherent. There's still some special characteristic about his resurrection that we haven't figured out. So, using the scalpel, I'll slice his neck. I handed that over. But as for the reason why I need my scalpel, I'm perhaps going to have a look inside his body cavity. Pardon? Ah, that's not a bad idea either.
Oh, hey, Ice. Thanks for joining again. I'll probably not be answering much comments though, because kind of a story, kind of reading kind of one. So, hey, nice to see you again. It's been like since Resident Evil Village, right? If I remember correctly.
I like to do this in a way that's as painless for the dinner as possible, but we'll try that incision next time. As expected, it's not very different from the gunshot. No, that's not right. Look here. The end of the blade disappeared. At the time of his resurrection, all foreign entities are purged. It seems a bit of grandiose of a claim, but saying they cease to exist or simply evaporate seems to be correct.
It's been a while, yeah. I remember you playing Resident Evil Village, yeah. Recently I played Resident Evil 4, 3, and the original 4 actually. I'm still in the middle of the professional run, but I've just been taking a break from it. Yeah, nice to see you again, bro. Been a while. Yeah, that was like, hold on, I'm gonna check actually. Village, 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 village. 9 months ago. Holy.
That must be the reason why it wasn't painful for him on reviving from that gunshot wound. The bullet in his head disappeared on his revival.
Okay.
He's quite the irresponsible one, my father. He always put going to war and killing people over his own family.
Your brother was college life. Makes sense. Well, it's nice catching up with you, bro. How's it going? Actually, pause here for a bit, just to talk for a bit. Yeah, I mean, I can't really pause, so I can, I guess, stop the stream sound. Yeah, how's it been, bro? Good. Been a long time, eh? Yeah. How's college life? If you don't mind me asking that. You're 400 subs, mate. Yeah. I haven't really been streaming much. Only recently. Just chilling, I guess. I don't really like being big, though. I'm not gonna lie. Being big, it comes with its downsides, and I only started this just because I can, what do you call it? Archive my stuff, so I don't really want to be too big. Really tired and probably a mistype, I don't know, but really boring on my course. Makes sense, yeah. I don't like studying as well. Not my strong suit. Well, actually, I was good at studies, but I didn't like it. I didn't like to do it. One day you'll hit 1 million subs. Thanks, man, but not, I don't really need it, to be honest. Life in 20s, man, is really boring. Yeah, I understand, man. You get used to it, though. Hope you make friends in college. I hope you have friends in college, actually. Life is like that in the beginning, but you just start to kind of get used to it, I would say. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just hope you're doing fine, though. At least. Sometimes it's not really the best in it. Everything is possible, bro. Yeah, true. But the only thing that's important right now is I hope that you're doing fine and feeling good, I guess. Even if college may be hard. I don't know if it's worth it. It depends on what you like for your studies and things, but eventually you'll figure out. I have friends, but I don't really like them and their vibes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it happens. Sometimes, yeah, your friends don't really match you sometimes, but that's a good thing. I wouldn't say that it's not really I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. Like, me and my friends just do completely different shit, and we are still great friends, and we have each other's back, so I hope you and your friends can be like that. Or I hope, at least, if they aren't, they become like that, or you find someone that's like that, man. Life in Philippines is boring. I mean, it's you would say that everywhere, to be honest with you, man. You would say that everywhere. Thank you for the advice, bro. Don't worries, man. It's just, yeah. Some things I do badly, some things I do good. I like giving advice because sometimes some people need it. I don't know if you need it, but I've met a lot of people who needed it somehow. Even though my advice can be absolutely dog shit sometimes. But it's fine. You can play, bro. I can watch while you're playing games. Yeah, no, I just wanted to catch up a little bit, man. It's only since I'll just be reading most of the time, so if there's anything you want to say, I just wanted to talk a little bit, so I'll go back to playing if that's okay with you. Since yeah, I like talking to my viewers sometimes. Well, not sometimes. I like talking to them all the time. It's funny to catch up when old viewers come. It's just unlucky that this game is something I can't really do it with, so it's not really something. Not that it's not the best for streaming, I guess, is what I found out here. I mean, it doesn't really matter though. It's okay, Bleak and Bro. You can play. All right, thanks, man. All right, yeah. So just chill, relax. Welcome to the stream. He's quite an irresponsible one, my father. He was going to war and killing people over his own family. I don't know if he was just lost in the patriotism of it all, or if he genuinely enjoyed playing the part of the hero. Whenever the situation allowed for it, he was off to fight. That's all there is to know about my dad. Far Cry. Far Cry, okay. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking the same thing, just making sure. Yeah, Far Cry, yeah. I've wanted to play, but I don't really want to because it's made by Ubisoft and I don't really like Ubisoft, I'm sorry. But maybe eventually, because I was planning to get the Ubisoft series for a while. Not Ubisoft, Far Cry series a while back, but yeah, I know, I stopped myself because I didn't really like the fact that it's made by Ubisoft, and I don't like Ubisoft. I've said this in like my past different streams. I've only have like 3, maybe even 1 Ubisoft game altogether. That's how much I hate it. I don't know how I can check, but I'm pretty sure there's like only 1 Ubisoft games I have. Yeah. But yeah, I could try it sometime. If that's your suggestion. Should I play from 1 or can I jump in 3 though if I ever had the chance though? If I ever have the chance. Ubisoft has a publisher sale going on. You like horror games? I like any kind of games. Yeah, I like any kind of games, to be honest. Games itself is my hobby. If I stop playing, that means I have not enjoyed it too much or something. But that's really, really, really rare. Most of the time, I actually finish all games that I play, or just hold on to it for years and just forget about it sometimes. But I don't completely stop. One, it's really out of graphics. Yeah, but do I need to play it to understand story or something? Because like if you're playing Resident Evil, why did I say it like that? Resident Evil is gonna be hard. Bro, Repo, yeah, Repo I wanted to play. I asked some of my friends, but not everyone's interested, so I have not had the chance to do it. Eventually, I guess I'll play it, but it's like Lethal Company, and yeah, seems fun. But eventually, maybe I'll ask Sheep to play it with me or something. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really play big multiplayer games here, especially because I only collab here with Sheeps and then Sheep because yeah, there's not much. But try one and start the whole story. Okay. If I enjoy one, I might just buy the rest of them, I guess then. Wait, what the hell? Oh, never mind. Yeah, okay. So Far Cry. Lara Croft. Yeah, Tomb Raider series. Yeah. I actually was planning to do Tomb Raider a while back because I do have them all on Epic Games. And I was actually planning to do the old ones, 1 to 6 on actual PlayStation, but I don't know, I haven't actually gone through with that yet, so eventually maybe. When the bundle on Steam maybe it gets cheaper, I might get the remastered versions as well though. Yeah. But there's like Shadow of the Tomb Raider new ones I got on Epic, so maybe I might do those quickly, you know. Seems like a thing I could do actually. Yeah. Might just do those on a weekend maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I'll make sure to try out Farcraft someday. But don't expect promises from me. I'm horrible. Playing Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot. Holy. Um is it like are you playing a new version of it or are you actually playing the old version? Like I think it's PlayStation 1. Sorry, PlayStation 1, I think, the original. I do actually have old 1, 2, and 3, if I remember correctly, in my PS1 disc selection. Alright, bro, it's okay. No, I just like talking, man. I just like talking. It's fine. It's fine. I could literally close the fucking stream just to talk for a bit. It's that much I don't care. Old, nice, nice. That's good. Nintendo. Yeah, okay, okay. Nintendo. Like Game Boy Advance? Is yeah, Game Boy Advance or GameCube maybe, right? Maybe not that old, I don't know. But I only remember Game Boy Advance and GameCube. I don't know what other devices, no, consoles have those. Because maybe Nintendo 64 have it. I don't know. But I know GameCube and Game Boy Advance had Crash Bandicoot games. Crossfire. No, actually, Crossfire. Mm. An old boy. Game Boy Advance. Oh, nice. Nice to meet a fellow. Nice to see a fellow, um, connoisseur of old games. Although I don't really go all the way back to. Well, actually, Game Boy is not that old. I don't know. Crossfire. I've never heard of this one actually. Crossfire. Is it a? I don't know. I've never heard of it actually. To be honest with you. Yeah, no idea. To be honest. Never heard of it. I thought I knew what you were talking about for Bid, but no. I know it's apparently a really old game, but that's what I found out just searching up at it. Yeah, I love old games. My dad is a gamer. Shooting game. Yeah, I know. I can read Crossfire, and of course I know shooting game. I also searched it up, so I understood that. But I understood that it was a shooting game, but I didn't. I have never heard of it actually. Your dad is a gamer is nice. Yeah. You must have been able to kind of experience old games then. That's really nice. I didn't have that. My dad wasn't really a gamer. Yeah. So I just got into games myself. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so when I was little, I barely knew what games were, to be honest. So, and it's quite weird to see people talk about, oh, my brother played this when I was little, or my dad played this, or my mother played this. Like, it's something weird for me. Yeah, no, I've never heard of Crossfire. Hmm. Yeah, no. No. Playing Tekken. Oh, Tekken. Yeah, that's nice. Tekken. I've wanted to try and get the PlayStation version of the 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, but I never had the chance to. So I still haven't actually gotten to that yet. But I eventually want to get the Tekken discs for PlayStation 1. Big fan of the PlayStation 1. It just looks cool. And just cool to me that even works in the first place. Alright, bro, it's been a while talking in the stream. Yeah, sorry. Alright, but I'm gonna rest and have fun on the stream. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion for games, though. I will see you next time if you ever join. But next time, I'll be probably playing something just kind of something where I can talk while playing, so yeah. I'm gonna butcher this so badly, so cover your ears maybe. Mag-inagt kapalgi. Means be careful always. Hey, you too, man. I hope college goes well. Goes more well. I hope you enjoy college more, I guess, because you only get a short amount of time for it. So, yeah, make sure to enjoy it if you can. I mean, studies might be shit, and boring, but everything else, just try to enjoy, mate. Because I hope people enjoy time when they have it. Sometimes I go think about that. But right. Hey. Thanks man. Yeah. Thanks for the suggestions. I'll continue the game as I'm gonna do. Thank you for the advice. I don't know. But yeah. No problem, man. I hope you do well. That's what I wish for everyone. At least everyone that's nice to me as well.
That's not very helpful by itself. Are there any unusual facts you know about your father's skill?
Even with such a big question as that, I've got nothing for you. You think my father died around the house often? Before all this happened, I only saw my father resurrect around a dozen of times. Okay.
Personally, I would say that's quite a lot.
I know very well about supernatural abilities. I know very little about supernatural abilities. You're the expert on that. Speaking of which, I heard that the institution that manages these superpower ranks, the superpowers ranks them based on the threat they pose. What rank do you think they'd place on my father's ability?
They would need a more systematic investigation of it, but possibly Estinine.
Estinine? Is that the one that gets a red marking? Alright, man, gotta bounce. Thanks for joining, man. I hope you have a good day. Or, I hope you had a good day. Or have a good next day or something. Or continue to have a good day. See you, man. Thanks for joining.
Yes, that's right.
That's the highest threat level. I guess that would make him as dangerous as a tank. I heard that in countries with many instances of superpowers, they require those with abilities to wear bracelets by law. Something to show how dangerous they are, right? So if my father has been born in such a country, he'd have to wear a red bracelet.
Yes, the Estinine rank staffers have to wear bracelets with a red light on them. Most of their outdoor activities are also heavily restricted.
Haha, that's a laugh. Over here you're born a hero, but over there you're born a monster. No, actually, if it weren't for the war, my father may have been treated like a monster as well. In that way, I guess he was sort of lucky.
Now, instead of telling stories about distant lands, I'd like to hear a story about the lieutenant.
Well, nothing comes to mind.
Well then, I should show you something to jog your memories.
He's quite the... Okay. Ugh. My father has resurrected once again. That doesn't surprise me at all anymore. In fact, it's actually quite bothersome. Isn't that right, nurse?
No, Inspector, what's the matter? It hasn't been 15 minutes yet.
What? But he already died. Have we broken the cycle somehow? This is good. It's a very good sign.
What do you think caused it? We can't know for certain. If I had a guess, though, something about my being involved in the death of the lieutenant probably caused this to happen. I have my ideas, but it would be dangerous to say if I have a confident grasp of the situation. We should continue the investigation. So using the scrapple, Of course, no matter how many times I do it, the result is the same. The tip of the blade disappears. It'd be better if you didn't waste too many like that, though. I've only got a limited number of scalpels. If you don't have enough, we can always go buy more. How much are they?
Hold on.
It'd be better if you don't waste too much like that. I've only got a limited number of scalpels. If you buy them individually, they're about that much. Nothing wrong with living frugally, so let's save what we can. Now then, where should I shoot this time? We need as many results in this experiment as we can muster. This time then it might be good change where we're shooting. I'm sorry, Lieutenant. Just hang in there a bit longer. You'll soon forget the pain. Shall I stop the bleeding? No, just let it be for now. Let's just see if anything turns out different.
We'll pass the time. Ugh.
He's resurrected. He's resurrected. So this time...
Ugh.
Sir, what's the matter?
My leg. Oh, it's okay now. It's bearable.
Even after resurrecting the pain. Regardless, it seems something else has changed.
What are you planning, pointing that pencil at me?
How seeing that berry thought? It's been useful thus far, but I don't think this pencil will be any more help to our investigation. In fact, the only use of this pencil now is to annoy you.
What's the point of annoying me, though?
The point? But first and foremost, it makes me feel better.
Consider me annoyed.
Oh, that does feel good. Ah! What are you doing? There's something you haven't told me, isn't there? What? What are you saying? What are you saying? Something you've been hiding. Something you've been hiding. Hiding? What do you mean? Are you really going to be like this? Alright, just put that thing away. Good idea. What do you want to know? Oh, what do you want to know? Actually, nothing at all. I just figured since I have a gun round, using it like this might help me get a clue. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint. We should have never given her a gun.
What are you doing?
Pointing a gun at you.
You know I have the bullets, right?
That's why I'm relaxed despite hurting someone at That's why I'm relaxed despite holding someone at gunpoint, no?
Well, I'm not relaxed at all, so put that away.
So even though you saw the chamber was empty with your own 2 eyes, you still feel threatened by it. Are you that scared of death?
Who isn't?
I thought there might be someone out there, but today has changed. There might be someone out there, but today has changed my mind. Even the man who's experienced death over 100 times is still scared of it. He desires death more than anyone, yet he still fears it.
Indeed, it certainly seems that way. Ugh.
He's resurrected, so this time...
Ugh. Ah! My leg! Ah!
My good sir, would you mind helping with me with something?
I'm pretty sure I told you to stop calling me that. When it comes out of your mouth, it just sounds sarcastic.
Ah, sorry, but really, could I get a hand?
What do you need me to do?
It's simple. You know of this album, yes?
Of course. I'm the one who put it there.
I'd love to hear a bit about an explanation about the pictures in here. They're moments you took part in, so you should know more about them than the nurse.
Let's get this over with.
You're quite... You're pretty cute in this one.
What are you trying to imply?
That you're not cute at all now.
Mind your own business. Even on a day such as this, my father wasn't with me and my mother. Even on a day such as this, my father wasn't with me and my mother.
So you remember the moment you were born?
My mother told me. She was so proud of my father, the patriot. So I went along with what my mother said, at least until she passed away. That's the most recent photo we have.
What's wrong?
When I really stop and think about it, I don't think I've ever seen my dad smile this wide.
Having regrets?
I have no idea what you mean.
Is that so? This may be your final chance.
I don't need your chances. I don't even know what chances you're talking about. This was the last picture we took of my mother. 3 days later, her symptoms took a turn for the worse.
I'm sorry.
I didn't want much. I just wanted him to be at her side at the moment. My dad was playing war then too, though.
I wouldn't say it's play when he's holding a real gun.
No, it was a game. When you can whip out your gun around all you like because you can't die. If that's not play. What is? I don't know if it was patriotism or something else, but my father played at war as often as he could. I'm only sorry for the soldiers who went off to die right next to him.
Sure were cute back then.
What are you going on about?
What on earth happened to you?
Please, just mind your own business. This is a picture from my first day of school. Even then, my father was nowhere to be seen.
Still, you had your mother. I'm jealous of that at least.
Your parents didn't take you to your first day of school?
I, didn't have a first day of school. Don't think too far into that. Not a great memory.
I wasn't even curious. Actually, I guess I might have been a little curious. Whoops. Okay. My dad struggled with his fevers for almost a year. That was the last time I had any hope for my father. It was the only time my father was home long enough for us to open up to each other. Dumb thing to expect. The next year he was off to war again. Even though the military was reluctant to have him since he was too old.
Despite the long conversations, it seems that whatever you hoped to get across never did.
That's not the important part. My father doesn't even remember me at his side, nursing him back to health.
What do you mean?
You know how my father loses some of his memories when he comes back to life? Back then the fevers took him before he came back to life again. Interestingly, he lost quite a number of memories from that time.
How many?
About a year's worth of memories. When he came to, he thought he was back on the battlefield.
This may be a bit rude, but what you say is interesting. Would you mind if I made a note of it?
Do what you will. After all, everything you said could be taken as rude.
Now then, without another moment's hesitation. The man in this picture isn't you, isn't it?
Of course not.
Then is it perhaps a secret son of your father's?
I'm starting to regret hiring you on again. That's my father. It's a picture of him when he was young. Before becoming a hero. When he was still sort of human. That version of my father.
I see. That's where the old resemblance to you comes from.
I don't agree, but those who knew my father when he was young say the same.
Where were you here?
I was with my girlfriend, of course.
I guess you didn't bring her around.
There was no reason to.
I see. Well, I don't think that's all that bad. After all sorts of families make up this wide world of ours. If you had stayed on bad terms and cut contract to the very end, I doubt anyone would have said anything.
Don't lecture me. I think that's all the pictures in it. Yeah.
Would you mind pointing that blade somewhere else? Sorry.
Why are you pointing it at me now?
I can very well point it at myself, can I?
Put that away! So childish.
She's much more mischievous than looks would have you think.
The same thing. You're going to stab me with that?
Of course not. We don't cut the belly of the goose that lays golden eggs. It's quite embarrassing, but I'm also in a hurry to get paid.
Honestly, it sounds good coming from you.
What are you going to do after you get the money? Good question. I'm sort of on holiday now. I guess first I'll get to my destination and find a decent room.
Your destination?
A certain hometown.
You're heading back home?
No, it's not exactly my hometown. It's the hometown of a person I know well. I'm unable to see that person right now, so I wanted to head there instead.
Then we should hurry up and deal with this mess, right?
Of course.
No, we don't need to. Okay. That... Ugh. My leg. Okay. So I think that's every single conversation we can do so far. I think. There's one case where over a year's worth of memories disappearing. Once I got with the death of the lieutenant, he began to resurrect before 15 minutes had passed. Why is our resurrected lieutenant now in pain?
Well then, where should I shoot this time?
We're gonna shoot him in the head. Bam.
He won't remember this, but I'd still like to make his death as painless as possible. Just hearing that makes you sound like a psychopath. Just hearing that makes you sound like a psychopath. Now the behavior matches up with a psychopath too, actually. With this, the lieutenant has been revived once more.
Ugh, my leg. Ugh.
So using this scalpel, I'll cut open his leg. Are you really going to stab him there? If you're trying to kill him, it'd be better to go for the head, like before at the neck.
Oh wait, hold on.
Are you really going to stab him there? If you're trying to kill him, it'd be better to go for the neck, like before at the neck. You're becoming quite belligerent. Indeed, and I have you to thank. You may not like this, but I'm not trying to kill him this time. I'm not completely opposed to the idea. Good to see you're getting used to it. If it's at all possible, I will appreciate your help with the job, nurse. Could you make an incision right here on our lieutenant? Excuse me? No,
Help her. You're a medical profession, no?
I am. Well then, would you... Well then, would you make an incision right here? Where you shot him before? Alright. Why do I have to do this?
Ugh.
Huh? It's rather small, but there's a wound here. At the heart of the wound. Here, it was left inside his body. A bullet. That's the one I fired just a moment ago. As expected, this is what was causing him pain. I'll make a note of that.
Ugh. Who are you? And where did my children go?
That marks another 15 minutes past. The lieutenant has revived again. Well then, shall we start again?
Okay. So if he's not insta-killed, the bullet shot remains.
Excuse me.
Okay, nothing to talk about. Is there anything we missed? I don't think so, right? What do I do? I can use a gun and knife on this. As well.
When you watch movies and such, you may have noticed the occasional scene where a hidden notebook blocks a bullet and saves a person.
Can you not tell the difference between fiction and between movies and reality?
No, I can. In reality, if you wanted to block a bullet, paper stacked up in layers is actually more efficient than using some sort of hard material. In fact, they say that warriors in some eastern countries even fashion armor out of paper.
That's quite interesting.
No, I mean a bullet would go through something as thin as this notepad in a heartbeat. This knife is sharper than I thought. I only applied a bit of pressure, but it cut through about 50 pages. Of course, that's for slicing through a person's skin. If you were to use a blunt blade during surgery, it's not just the patient who's bound to get hurt, but the doctor too. At times, blunt blades are more dangerous. That's what you're trying to say. At times, blunt blades are more dangerous. That's what you're trying to say. That may not be speaking strictly about surgery either. She seems to enjoy a good turn of phrase.
Might as well try the gun on the safe as well.
If I shot the gate with this gun, you think the bullet would go through the door? I think I'd give the bullet a rough time, if it is a safe at all.
No, it's not that expensive of a safe, so it could work.
Then shall we conduct an experiment to see if whose opinion is correct? No.
Don't.
Just joking. Can't be handling a gun so recklessly, right? There are so many ways I want to respond, but I don't want to continue this line of conversation. I think she might really shoot it.
Who are you? And where did my children go?
That marks another 15 minutes past. The lieutenant has revived again. Well then, shall we start again? A long time.
Oh, yeah, I accidentally used this already. Oops.
If I shot the safe with a gun, you think the bullet would go through the door? I think I'd give the bullet a rough time. It is a safe after all.
I already read this.
Nurse, do you know of any way to open a safe with a scalpel? No, I don't. I see. I don't either. Huh? What is she even saying?
Alright. Well, we tried everything. I'm gonna shoot again. His second leg, maybe? Ah!
I just shot him in the left leg, so next we'll do the right then.
Who are you? My left leg, it hurts.
My word, I shot him in the leg, but he died regardless. Even though I avoided his vitals, it seems he couldn't handle 2 gunshot wounds. It didn't look at all different from when you shot him in the head. From the outside, it certainly seems so. There doesn't seem to be any difference in which area we shot. He said his left leg is hurting. First things first, need to make a note of it.
My leg. Oh!
Huh? Oh.
What's that sound? The police. I mean, I discharged a weapon, so it's sort of a given. How could she talk as if this wasn't happening to her?
Shit! I'll go downstairs and explain. You two stay here and don't even think about coming down.
Are you going to take your gun and bullets down to meet him too?
Oh, damn it, you're right. Nurse, I'll give you these for safekeeping. Damn it, you're right. Nurse, I'll give you these for safekeeping.
Of course.
I'll be right back, so don't move a muscle.
Perfect timing. Now we can return to our conversation. What do you mean? Did you learn something? More than something, I've learned everything. Then, shouldn't we wait for him to get... No, this talk is going to go much easier with just 2 of us. Let's start by organizing what we learned thus far. Nurse, if you would work with me here. Alright. Then, let's get started. The first item on our agenda. What happens to the foreign items in the lieutenant's body when he revives? Didn't we figure that out before? You said that the object in his body ceased to exist. Oh, Ness, that's already quite the outdated hypothesis. Excuse me, didn't you say that only a few minutes ago? A good inspector shows no hesitation in smashing through her own hypothesis. Okay, you sure are giving me quite the education. So what happened to the tips of those blades and all the bullets? A fantastic question. In truth, when the lieutenant revives, foreign objects in his body do cease to exist. However, not all foreign matter disappears. From my recollection, it seems that there was an exception to the disappearing substances. Yes, you should remember too, even after the lieutenant pulled off his resurrection, there was still something remaining in his body. You're talking about the bullet in his leg? Yes, that's right. So why didn't the bullet disappear? It must be the foreign objects in the legs don't disappear. The answer is as beautiful as that. Beautiful. Stafer's skills, phenomena in general, they have parts of them that work systematically, like physics or chemistry. Thus, I think this is different from the theory you suggest. Then, what's your theory, Inspector? Before I explain that, we must test your hypothesis. You believe that foreign objects in the lieutenant's legs simply don't disappear, but I think the likelihood of that being the case to be low. Among my notes, there's this one that stands out.
What did I need to do again? Okay.
I'm not sure if you can remember, but there were cases where the bullets in his legs did disappear. Is that right? I'm not sure I quite... It's okay, we can just replicate the circumstances. Oh! Wait just a minute! The police are out! Don't you worry, just need to shoot one more round and... Oh! The lieutenant resurrects when the bloodstains disappear. No one is hurt, and so the worst we'll get is a fine. The lieutenant's son will take care of that if it's the case. So I shot his leg first, my left leg first, and his right leg second. Let's make a few incisions and check the wounds. See if the bullets remain. Alright. There's a bullet in his left leg. However, in his right... Nothing, huh? That's right. As you saw, I clearly shot 2 rounds. But the only one remaining is the first shot. The second one ceased to exist. It's unfortunate, but the theory that foreign matters don't disappear from his legs has been proven false. I don't think it's all that unfortunate. However, that also adds credibility to my own hypothesis. And what hypothesis is that? The first bullet remained, but the second disappeared. What was the difference between the first and second rounds? Also, what does the second bullet have in common with all the other foreign objects that disappeared? When you think about it, that is clear. The similarity between the second bullet and the foreign objects that disappeared.
Okay.
The bullets I fired at his head, the blades that severed his carotid artery, and the second bullet shot into his leg. The common trait that they share is that they were all the direct cause of the lieutenant's deaths. I guess saying they were finishers or confirmed killers may make it easier to understand, no? The first bullet fired into his leg shot would have been fatal, but ended up not being the direct cause of the lieutenant's death. That's why even after his revival, he remained in his leg. That's right. The thing that ceases to exist on the lieutenant's revival is the object that takes his life. So is that the beautiful answer you were referring to before? I'd sooner call it efficient than beautiful. After all, there are still some ambiguities to solve, such as the difficulty distinguishing between physical body and foreign substances. For his body to only remove the direct cause of death, you can't help but call such a resurrection efficient. Also, if the lieutenant's resurrection is directly related to this cause of death, we still have one more suspicion to resolve. A suspicion? When I ended his life with my own two hands, there was another commonality, you know? Did you still tell me? The foreign objects all disappeared. No, besides that, there was one more thing. When I took his life myself, there was another common phenomenon.
Memory gone. Oh. Oh, wait, here. No? Oh, here. 15 minutes before. It was for some reason early.
For the past 3 weeks, the lieutenant has died and resurrected every 50 minutes on repeat. However, there has been an exception to that. When I killed him myself, the 50 minutes weren't able to play out entirely before his death came once more. When I was the finisher of the lieutenant's life, even upon reviving, his body's state didn't return to 50 minutes before. It returned to the physical state directly before the finishing event. That's because the lieutenant's resurrection is based on his cause of death. Yes, that's right. Since the cause of death was my attack, his body returned at the time directly before my attack. So, that's where our suspicion arises. There's the suspicion again. Okay, hear me out first. This time, it'll be quite the seductive tale. Huh? Here's the premise of this case. There's the lieutenant for his resurrection skill, and because he's old, it's now time for him to die. However, when the old state takes him, he's revived once more, returning his body to its state 15 minutes prior. The lieutenant then dies 15 minutes later before reviving once more. This cycle continues. Yes, that certainly is the case, but in the story I just told, the lieutenant's cause of death is none other than old age. So, the lieutenant's skill returns his body to the state it was in before the cause of death took effect. By why, when he dies of old age, there is a return his body to 15 minutes prior. Is that because his body can go back further than 15 minutes? A good hypothesis is what I wish I could say, but again you're wrong. There's proof that his body can go back further than 15 minutes, and it's right here.
1 year ago. Hey.
This comes from something the lieutenant's son said, but in the past the lieutenant suffered from a disease for around a year. Also, he died due to the disease, though he revived right after. Yes, I remember hearing that. I've been right here in this room the whole time. Then you must have heard the next part too. He said that the lieutenant lost about an year's worth of memories from his resurrection. From this, we can be sure of two things. First, I can say that my hypothesis is correct. Since he fell ill a year before, his body resurrected to the state it was in before the illness. And second, it tells us that your hypothesis is wrong. So the maximum time limit for the lieutenant's revival skill is not 15 minutes. Also, this returns us to our original suspicion. Why, when the lieutenant dies of old age, can he not go back more than 15 minutes? I see. There are a number of possibilities, but here's what I'm thinking. The idea that the very premise is wrong. In fact, our lieutenant may not be dying of old age. That's what I'm thinking. Of course, this woman. The lieutenant is dying of what exactly? If your reasoning is correct, Inspector, there must be something else that's killing him within 15 minutes. Indeed, since he's only got another 15 minutes after his resurrection. Also, when the lieutenant revives, that's something's completely purged from his body. Still, the lieutenant dies from it again 15 minutes later. Do you really think that's possible? I do, because the thing that makes it possible is in this very room.
Oh, what? The IV fluid. Yeah, that makes sense because that's the only thing that's affecting him.
No matter how many times the lieutenant dies, and no matter how many times he lives, he has those fluids continually supplying him with his nutritional needs. But what if the fluids being continuously supplied to him contained no nutrition, but a poison instead? If there were a poison that took a person's life every 15 minutes, and it was being continuously administered, then if the lieutenant were killed by said poison, the only thing that would be purged by his resurrection would be that poison. Thus, if the poison was stored and slowly administered from outside of his body, these miracles that saved our soldier who turned the tides of war are simply a given. And if there's been someone at the lieutenant's side this whole time guarding said person... In fact, before we started our conversation in earnest, I went ahead and cut off the flow of his IV. Also, it seems like it's been 15 minutes since his last resurrection. But our lieutenant isn't dead. Say you did know everything. Didn't I say at the very beginning? This talk was going to go much easier with just the two of us. I prefer quiet environments when I have important conversations, especially when I get to hear a criminal confess. The lieutenant's replied deaths. I repeated deaths has been no accident. They were murders. And the murderer was his caregiver. My father was a soldier. My father, he served with the lieutenant. My father admired that man. He said that even though the lieutenant was past retirement, he was going back to the front lines. My father called it courageous. He said so in this letter. But my father didn't come back. The only person to come back was this man, right here. Every ally, every enemy was wiped out. And the lieutenant here was the only person who made it off that battlefield. In fact, the man who couldn't die was made the platoon leader. It was just given that such a platoon would be given the most dangerous mission. My father must be prepared to give his life. I know that. But why is this old geezer the one being held up as a hero? It was my father and the other people in his unit who risked their lives, not that man! So why is the people who can't die holding all this glory? That was the part that I just couldn't stand anymore. Is that how you thought from the very beginning? Or is that just the way you've decided to think? What? What did you say? What did you say? First off, my condolences for everything with your father. Also, I understand all this hatred you must be feeling. However, what I don't understand is directing all the hate at a single person. After all, there are people who deserve your hate far more than the lieutenant. The enemy soldiers who killed your father, the high-ranking officers who gave such a dangerous orders, and the politicians who started the war. Yet, the enemy soldiers are always dead. And the officers and politicians are hard to identify, so they are unapproachable. In comparison, an old soldier on his deathbed who needs a nurse to look after him. There's the perfect person to become the object of your hatred. Say you. Yes, I did! What of it? Even when I kill him, he comes right back out anyway! I probably killed him 100 times already, and that amount... You know what? I'm fine with it! You're probably right to think that. What? The lieutenant's feelings regarding death were quite dulled of that, I'm certain. Even before I began my investigating, I confirmed his intentions again and again, all to the same response. I don't care how many times you have used to kill me. Just get it done all the way. That's what he told me, which is why I resorted to such means. No, but this 3-week phenomenon you've created, it may have meant pain for those around him, but the lieutenant himself said he didn't remember. I would say that he suffered little to no damage from all this. Still!
Sorry to interrupt, but what's going on exactly? Nurse, are you alright?
For those 3 weeks, you've stared at the lieutenant as he had no idea what was going on, and I hope you're satisfied. What are you doing? It's over. Please leave.
Dear me.
You got back quicker than I imagined. You got back quite quicker than I imagined. I thought you'd had a harder time with the extra shots I fired.
I used my father's frequent target practice as an excuse. Plus, you're a quick one. You've settled this case wonderfully. To think that the nurse, for someone hired on by my father, I quite like her. Unfortunate, really.
The murder charges should be hard to prove, but you can at least get her for an assault.
Charges? No, there will only be no charges. You blabbered about my plan where the nurse could hear about it. Before the sparks fly, we have to solve things amicably between us.
Well, this case proved to be quite the opportunity for you. You two worked so well together, since you're both criminals.
Indeed. Speaking of which, there's one more thing I was curious about. Miss Inspector, will you clear up my final suspicion?
Well, I'm quite tired.
I understand finding out about my plan from checking out the safe, but why'd you think about opening the safe in the first place? That wasn't part of your job description.
Plus, with the reasoning you just used, all of the investigating you did with the gun was quite similar to the methods that nurse used.
That's too much of a coincidence. I think you knew about IB foods from the very beginning. And from that thought. Call it a feeling, but oddly enough, one thing has been bothering me. That oddly puffy sleeve of yours.
Hey! What do you think you're doing?
Just trying my hand at reasoning as well. Of course. After all, I'm the son of a man with supernatural abilities. I had no choice but to learn a thing or two. On an island beyond the ocean, they say supernatural abilities run rampart, so the people with them are shackled and controlled just like this. Red, I see. Isn't that the most dangerous threat, a marvel, among your kind? What sort of skill do you have? Reading people's minds? To only pretend to know after you've only investigating with your superpower. You're more shameless than you look.
I couldn't know everything beforehand. That's why I had to investigate to figure out the truth. Either way, I've met your demands, so I don't think that's important anymore.
Indeed, that's not the important thing here. But what's a red bracelet wearing superpower wielding freak like you doing out round here? That's the important thing. I'm pretty sure the people wearing shackles like you are only allowed to live in designated areas. Speaking of criminals, I guess it's not just me and the nurse.
Get your hands off me, and tell me what you want.
I want a contract. I wanted to state that you won't make any sort of public statement about me or the nail. If you do so, I'll sign it too. Promising me, I won't give you up to the Bureau. I'm not of the mind to reveal the skeletons in my closet just to report another person. Don't you think putting our assets on the line with a signature would give you some relief?
I have one condition. Have my fees paid by me tomorrow. In cash, of course.
That's a lot to ask. But I think it's a fair deal as it stands.
The problem isn't about the fairness, it's about the trust. We'll hold each other's weakness in the palm of our hands. I doubt any good will come from dragging this sort of relationship out for a long time. Above all, I don't trust you. You think you could trust me? I don't have cash now. Please wait, please. You've got to wait until I get my inheritance, as we stated in our initial contract. No. Get the loan if you must. But I want my payment. Even if it's an illegal loan, you can normally get cash in a few hours. And now, the stopped timeline of the lieutenant is flowing once more. If it's as the doctor said, it'll be difficult for him to make it past a week. With me and the nurse out of the picture, there's nothing left to stop you from getting your inheritance. There's nothing to lose, no? In the end, it's all about money. If things end like this, trusting you will be simple. Good. The contract should be quick enough to write out. Last but not least, I've got one piece of advice. When the lieutenant dies, the nurse's grudge may be redirected at his whole family. I take measure to guarantee she doesn't make another sudden appearance. The law will be on your side. I'll keep that in mind. Now sign here and thumbprint here. There you go. Is that your actual name you signed? Yes. I've got nothing to hide after all this. True. It's been nice working with you, Inspector Redfins.
Oh.
From the moment I discovered that ability,
I started running into the enemy fire, shooting blindly as I did, and dying on repeat. After a few hundred times of doing that, suddenly there were no more enemy soldiers in front of me. When I looked back, I was a war hero. That was only the beginning. After that, I took part in 5 more wars, and I received 4 Medal of Honors. My deaths numbered in the thousands, but for every one of my deaths, I killed 2 of theirs. My entire lifetime was a cycle of death and resurrection on the battlefield. But even now, that comes to an end. My vision is growing dim. And even the voices of my children calling to me scatter like a mist. True, death has come for me. Finally, even I will be able to sleep that long slumber. Finally, what I have been hoping for a long time. Death. I've been on the battlefield, far past the age of retirement, but it wasn't about patriotism or honor. I can't say those things played no part in it. But at my very core, that wasn't my reason. It's just I couldn't bear it. I couldn't find my way along those peaceful streets of life. I should have died again and again. Yet I lived on as if nothing were the matter. To be the only one left to enjoy this life, I simply couldn't bear it.
Father,
I wanted to die. That's why I went back to the battlefield. Yet that was the wrong choice. I couldn't die anyway. And only the precious lives of all those young people in front of me, besides me, were lost. I've died 1,000 deaths, but none of them were my last. Yet I brought the final death on many times more than that. And even at the most important times in your lives, I wasn't be able to be on your sides. I'm sorry. I couldn't give you what you deserved. If I could get one more chance. If I could only be born once more, I'd live a new sort of life. One that would give this moment meaning. A life to give my death meaning. That's life.
Excuse me. That's my seat. Excuse me, that's my seat. Oh, isn't this a lovely coincidence, nurse? You're still here. Indeed, my preparations weren't long, but as you can see, I'm leaving now. Seems like you're searching for a hometown as well, giving up on revenge. I couldn't go through with it, even if I wanted to. I couldn't even get close to them until the trial begins. Does that mean you won't be here for the trial? Whether I'm here or not, the result will be the same. They'll get the restraining order. Should you be getting a whole lot more for assault? You avoided jail time in exchange for keeping that man's secrets, no? Yes. He did just as you advised him to. Dear me. Seems like he told you what I said. Well, I guess I told him of no provision about keeping it a secret from you. You're disgusting. Excuse me. Always looking down at people. Even though you yourself only took that job for money. It's all just so gross. You. Me. That man's son. And the old man himself. There. In the company of his beloved children, he gets to direct his own teaching, touching death, repenting for all his sins. Yet none of that makes his dead feel any happy, or bring them back to life. It makes him and only him feel better in the end. I must have said something funny. Am I just going to look down on your nose at me again? No, I'm just relieved is all. No, I'm just relieved is all. What? Actually, I'm taking a train going to the other direction. My destination is New Mexico. The only reason I took a seat here was to see how you were doing one last time. Seeing how you were now. It seems that fortunately you haven't figured it out yet. Figured it out? What? As you and I poked around figuring out the lieutenant's skill, I deliberately avoiding mentioning something. I didn't mention what ending the lieutenant was waiting for him. Excuse me, what are you? I have no obligation to tell you what it is, but since it's you should be able to figure out with a little thought. Please, take your time and chew that over. What's she talking about? The ending waiting for the lieutenant. Isn't that old man going to die of old age soon? Dying of old age. If his cause of death were old age. No way. He can't. I've got to get back. The restraining order.
Where am I? Who are you? What is this? What is this?
Daddy! Is that really you, Daddy?
Dear Lord, it looks just like the young face of my father I saw in the album. Has he been made young again? Daddy, what are you... Daddy? Oh, oops, hold on.
Where am I? Where am I? Who are you? What is this? Daddy? Are you talking about me? Ah! Daddy, God really has granted you a new life! You can't be serious. This is not a chance. His resurrection even allows him to come back from dying of old age! His skill allows him to reverse death from old age and go back in time until the cause of the death is completely eliminated. Has his cells been restored to the moment just before they started aging? No, more important than that, my inheritance! Your inheritance? Whose inheritance are you talking about precisely? What? Daddy has returned to us! So what's all of this talk about inheritance? Ah, Daddy, now you can finally get away from more and live in peace with us! What? I'm not sure what you mean exactly, but peace sounds good. That woman! I expect was she? That's damned! An artist! Hey there, what do you think you're doing? The train's already leaving the station. You're going to hurt yourself. Ah! Ah! Have a nice trip, nurse. Have a nice trip, nurse. Surprisingly, you may have seen straight through to the heart of me. Lieutenant, even if you don't remember, I kept my promise to you. I told you I'd grant you a natural death. Now all those blood-soaked bodies will disappear with your memories, and that spells the end of what I can do for you. Now, with this new life you've been reborn with, you have to keep the promises you've made. I pray for all the deaths that I eventually are given. Oh. You live that life that has been given back to you. Stay for Case spin-off. Stay for Reborn. END. End. Oh, that was good! Oh my gosh, I didn't expect it to be, the surge, though. I kind of felt it halfway. Hold on, let me fix my mic. Oh. Whoops, I've accidentally muted the songs of everything, apparently. No, it's fine. There was just a return of the Stay for Case songs, so... well, sorry about that. I messed up. Yeah, no, I messed up. Sorry, but it's fine. It was just music, and there was not really much voices in here, so I mean, it really didn't matter, did it? To be honest with you, I don't actually know what this is talking about. Well, okay, fuck it. I'm not gonna do this, but so. Oh, F4. We all love to see it. But yeah. Amazing little spin-off in my point of view. Oh, apparently there's a achievement I missed, so I might just go do that really quickly. Yeah, but, the Safer Case theme kind of returned. The do-do-do, do-do. Yeah, but I really wish they continue more with these characters, bro. Like, it's amazing. How do I get this achievement? Hold on. Let me pull up. I really loved it though. That was really good. I will probably come back to it, to be honest though. I'll probably come back to it one more time. Just because I really liked it, and then I might just add the music to it and voice act it better. Now that I know what's gonna happen. Because I do want to practice my voice acting. It's been a while since I've voice acted myself. So I do feel like doing it. So let me actually find a guide. When gameplay starts, click on it and use a pencil passer. If you want to see, inspect the lock on the back wall to gain a key phrase. What's the safe code? Okay. So as long as okay, all right. Skipping everything. Okay. Just whiplashed me. I like how, when I think about it again, it's quite funny because she touches the nurse to figure it out. It's kind of funny, now that I think about it. Wait, didn't we? Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta do the pencil, huh? I'm skipping everything till like the first. Look at what I did last time. Maybe this one. No. Wait, what? Oh, there we go. So what I have to do simply is, this one. This should give me an achievement and new dialogue. Nothing to ponder, actually. Nothing to ponder, actually. Excuse me. This 4 digits. Doesn't that remind you of anything? Ah! You mean the safe? Correct. The safe on the wall, it also needs a 4-digit combination. This is clearly a list of combinations for the safe. Then one of the circle numbers must be the combination. Of course. But there are 3 different numbers circled. No need to fret over that, little things. We just need to try all of them. None of them work. None of them work. Just in case I try the numbers that had the X's next to them. 2, but no dice.
What are you doing, and without my permission?
You've wasted so much time like that. Lieutenant has died and come back 3 times already. I'm sick of explaining ourselves to him. What are we supposed to do now? You said there was nothing to ponder, and that these were clearly safe combinations. Hey, calm down. The inspectors are just people, and he's human after all. When it comes to solving a case, what's more important than getting the right answer in a single guess? Yes, what's more important? Just talking to myself. What's more important is checking the notepad once more. If these notes aren't combinations to the safe, they must be connected to something else.
And that's the achievement. And I need to do the same. Alt F4 out of here. And that should finish. Yeah, I achieved the games 100%. Yeah, this game was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. I'll play this once again fully. Maybe just add it to as a video, not a what do you call it? A stream. Because why would I go back to it again, basically? But yeah, I think this is a really solid game. Now I play this, to be honest, I feel like Dice Theater kind of one. I wished it was more related to the, current characters we met, but we just met a new person, so I have no idea who it is. But yeah. I would say Stay for Reborn, amazing. Just adds to the greatness of Stay for Case and then builds upon it and shows what happened afterwards to the Sarge or Redfins. Which I thought the sub-story was going to cover a little bit more, but I didn't expect it to cover it here, where she's doing odd jobs to get to New Mexico, which the case was right, which is, what I would say is cool, but Case is not going to move because he is dealing with the part where he's just trying to, be more of or solve something, I guess. But yeah, that was really good, to be honest. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah. I really wish Stay for Retro was good. I really wish. But it's gonna be quite a long time till Stay for Retro comes, and it's, yeah. Apparently it's releasing later on. I wonder if there's a date, to be honest. No. Yeah, but I wish it's good, to be honest. I wish it's good. But so far I've enjoyed all 3 games, I'm not gonna lie. Even though Dice Theater is the weakest, it's still quite fun, in my point of view. It's luck-based, but I think it's fun because of that. But yeah, so thanks for joining. This was The Infected. That was Stay for Reborn. But yeah, we'll play it some other day. Maybe myself because you know, I want to practice voice acting a little bit because I like doing some random things, to be honest. And I've been having fun voice acting throughout the whole Stay For series, so we'll probably revisit. So yeah, thank you for joining. This was The Infected. See you guys next time. We shall play something else. Goodbye.